President Trump made his first appearance yesterday at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, since I think the mostly peaceful protest at the Capitol on January 6th, the day that Democrats will be crying about for the next 4 years. But he wasn't the only Trump to speak there. Donald Trump Jr. also made an appearance and made quite an impact as well.
Donald Trump Jr. attacked me in his speech at CPAC. Something about me looking like a gender-neutral potato head. And then the tweets started rolling in on my computer, people telling me about Donnie Jr. insulting me, and I thought of some really cutting responses, some really clever ways to reply, some way to go viral, but then I stopped. I didn't post anything. It was just another distraction. He wanted me to respond. This was just more BS fuel for the culture war, and it does not matter. There is too much real news going on. There's no time for potato heads.
You thought of a very clever response and you were going to tweet it out, but you're better than that. No, the only time that you go viral is when I make you go viral because I own you. Every conservative talk show host in America knows it. Virtually every conservative in America knows it, that my impression of Brian Stelter is the real Brian Stelter. And I don't know if there's a term for what happened in psychology, but occasionally somebody's impression of somebody overtakes that person, and it's the first thing that pops into everybody's mind anytime they see or hear that person. The same thing happened with Sarah Palin after Tina Fey started doing impressions of her on Saturday Night Live, and it's widely accepted that her impression of Sarah Palin tarnished her image so bad. And the same thing happened with her. People could not hear Sarah Palin without just seeing the caricature of her.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Sort of the same thing with Daryl Hammond on Saturday Night Live years before with Al Gore and his lockbox.
Rather than squander the surplus on a risky tax cut for the wealthy, I would put it in what I call a lockbox.
Can you imagine being Brian Stelter and going viral like once a month strictly from people mocking you? And speaking of pathetic, the Golden Globe Awards were last night, which is a Hollywood awards ceremony for movies and television shows. The Oscars, of course, are for movies, the Emmys are for television shows, and the Golden Globes are for both. And I was going to put together a compilation showing every time one of the presenters or winners mentioned the words diversity, inclusion, or black people, but that's all that this video would be. I fell asleep halfway through the show, and I'm sure I didn't miss anything important, but I did catch the part when they gave the Lifetime Achievement Award to producer Norman Lear for all the great work that he's done over the decades, but they left out the fact that he was in the Malibu Mafia back in the 1960s, and you'll just have to look that up for yourself. I can't get into the details here, but in short, it was a very powerful and wealthy group of individuals in Hollywood who used their position in the industry to inject liberal propaganda into television shows and movies. Of course, I wrote a whole book called Hollywood Propaganda, How TV, Movies, and Music Shape Our Culture, which you should order in paperback from Amazon.com or download the ebook onto your tablet or your e-reading device. I sample pop culture so that you don't have to, and out of all the movies and television shows that were nominated for awards, out of all of them, I could only think of one that wasn't absolute garbage. Just one. Borat's subsequent movie film was kind of funny because, unlike liberals, I actually have a sense of humor and can laugh at my own side. That's not to say that it wasn't liberal propaganda or particularly deceptively edited in certain parts, like the segments involving Rudy Giuliani. And here's Sacha Baron Cohen admitting his goal by making the movie.
Did it affect the election? I don't know. I mean, I hope so. You know, that's why I made it. That's why I had to have it out before November 3rd. It's why I put myself in some really silly situations.
Michael Penis, I brought the girl for you.
I thought liberals were against foreigners interfering in our elections, but that's only when it doesn't benefit them. When it does, then they give them awards. But I'm glad they had their one night of fun at the Golden Globes because you know that today the liberal media is going to go back to complaining and crying about President Trump, and tomorrow and the next day and the next for the next 4 years.
Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time, okay?
Well, I certainly hope so, sir, but even if you're not going to run again, I, for one, am going to have a good time trolling the Democrats for the next 4 years because nothing scares them more than just the thought of it. And you guys know what's coming next. It's the merch plug, because I've just launched my new Trump 2024 shirt. Available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.